This live stream brought to you by the Excelsior Citizen and these generous sponsors. The Simmons Sales Team, your hometown realtors. Find out how you can advertise with Excelsior Springs' #1 community resource. Visit ExcelsiorCitizen.com today. Computer hooked up first.
No, it's died before I would get off the chair.
Yeah, we have this opened up and then we turn that on.
Sometimes the projector recognizes.
Hold down the AV mute button on the remote control for 5 seconds.
Remember the red, green, blue bar on TV?
Yeah.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by. Is it restarting?
Yeah, it's blinking. Green light's flashing.
Oh, it's
Right.
back. It's
Okay,
well
well
done.
If you tried the reset button.
All right. Now let me hit record. Hit record. 6:02, we will open our city council
Recording in
meeting. And
progress.
Pastor Wesley, you have our opening for us this evening?
Yes. Let's return to our Father, we come, Lord, to say thank you for allowing us to meet one more time. Father, we ask a special blessing for those who are on the board. Thank you for their labor and their work. Father, we ask for the blessing on those who will present their proposal. We ask, oh God, that their labor will be beneficial to this city, to the residents that reside here. And Father, continue to help us and keep us in thy holiness. We ask, oh Father, that you will bless what will be said and what will be done. And then, Lord, when the work is done down here, we continue to give you praise, honor, and glory. This we ask in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay. Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Are there any visitors present this evening that are not on the agenda that would like to speak? Okay, minutes of the regular city council meeting of May 16th, 2022.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes of May 16, 2022.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Consideration of agenda?
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay. The proclamation for World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, we will not read this evening because our representative isn't here. And I don't want to read it to myself. So we will move into our second agenda item, which is the public hearing for 410 Concourse.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council.
We need a motion.
I was going to say, do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
I move that we open the public hearing for 410 Concourse.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Thank
Good
you,
evening.
Laura.
The Community Development Department has an application for 353 tax abatement from Max and Nancy Laughlin of 410 Concourse. This is an American Foursquare house built in 1910, and they are making improvements to that property, including repair of siding, new paint and storm windows, interior improvements to the flooring as well. The project was approved by the Excelsior Springs Historic Preservation Commission on April 13th of 2022 and was also approved by the Redevelopment Corporation on May 12th of 2022. They have met all guideline requirements for 353 projects in a residential district, and all of these improvements are eligible for tax abatement. Their estimates total $14,215 for exterior work and $6,596.15 for interior work, for a total investment of $20,811.15. All the proposed improvements would remove blight at the property, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
And this is a public hearing, is there any? All right, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing for 410 Concourse.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. We have an ordinance approving the 410 Concourse Avenue project amendment to the amended development plan submitted by the Excelsior Springs Redevelopment Corporation, authorizing certain tax abatements for the project area and approving a redevelopment agreement.
I move we take ordinance number 22-06-01 to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay, an ordinance approving the 410 Concourse Avenue project amendment to the amended development plan submitted by the Excelsior Springs Redevelopment Corporation, authorizing certain tax abatements for the project area and approving a redevelopment agreement.
I move we approve ordinance number 22-06-01, consideration for the 353 development for 410 Concourse.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay. Now, we will have a second public hearing for 514 Elms Boulevard. I would entertain a motion to go into a public hearing.
I make a motion that we go into public hearing.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Do we
Good
hear enough?
evening again.
Yes.
The Community Development Department has for your consideration this evening a 353 tax abatement for the property of 514 Elms Boulevard from Jeff Watkins. This is a 2.5-story brick apartment building that contains 4 units. Exterior improvements include a new deck, landing, and stairs at the back of the building, tuck pointing throughout the building, and resurfacing the front stoop with flagstone. Interior improvements included a new AC and furnace for one apartment and a bathroom for another. This project was approved by the Excelsior Springs Historic Preservation Commission on September 8th of 2021 and was approved by the Redevelopment Corporation on June 6th of 2022. As per the commercial guidelines for 353 projects, this falls under the level A2 minimum. Estimates total $43,200 for the exterior work and $9,000 for the interior work, for a total investment of $52,200. And all of the guidelines have been met for this property, that 50% of the expenditures must be on the exterior, and proposed improvements have removed blight at the property. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Does anyone want to speak to this? Okay, Entertain a motion to close the public hearing for 514 Elms Boulevard.
I move that we close the public hearing for 514 Elms Boulevard.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Councilman Spawn?
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Powell?
Yes. Okay, agenda item number 5 is an ordinance approving the 514 Elms Boulevard project amendment to the amended development plan submitted by the Excelsior Springs Redevelopment Corporation, authorizing certain tax abatements for project area and approving a redevelopment agreement.
I move we take ordinance number 22-06-02, consideration of 353 development agreement for 514 Elms Boulevard to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon.
Councilman Spawn?
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Powell?
Yes. An ordinance approving the 514 Elms Boulevard project amendment to the amended development plan submitted by the Excelsior Springs Redevelopment Corporation, authorizing certain tax abatements for the project area and approving a redevelopment agreement.
I move we approve ordinance number 22-06-02 for the 353 development at 514 Elms Boulevard.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon.
Councilman Kowalski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Councilman Spawn?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Powell?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Agenda item number 6 is an ordinance authorizing and adopting the rezoning of certain property generally located at 941 North Jesse James Road in Excelsior Springs, Clay County, Missouri, from District C3 Service Business District to District R1 Single Family Residential District.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. The Community Development Department has for your consideration this evening the rezoning of the property at 941 North Jesse James. This property is currently Zone C3. However, a single-family home resides on the property. It is a legal non-conforming use, and a C3 can have a single-family home in it. However, as a legal non-conforming use, if the structure would be damaged by more than 50%, the property would not be allowed to be rebuilt as it currently stands. If it were rezoned as an R1 building, the dimensions of the lot and the yard requirements would allow for the reconstruction of that single-family home. The current property owner has spent a considerable amount of money renovating the home, has had it on the market, and continues to run into issues with mortgage companies that don't want to approve a mortgage on a property that could end up in a state where it would not be able to be rebuilt. So they are requesting a rezoning to R1. All of the utilities are adequate on the property. The comprehensive plan identifies this as a mixed-use development in the future. City staff has recommended approval of the process, and at the last Planning and Zoning meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission also recommended approval of this. So this evening we bring it to you in hopes that you too would approve this. I would answer any questions you may have on this property.
Questions? Okay, an ordinance authorizing and adopting the rezoning of certain property currently located at 941 North Jesse James Road in Excelsior Springs, Clay County, Missouri, from District C3 Service Business District to District R1 Single Family Residential District.
I move we take ordinance number 22-06-03 for the rezoning of 941 North Jesse James Road to second reading.
Second.
Give it to Mark.
Tie.
Roll call, Shannon.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Councilman Spawn?
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Powell?
Yes. An ordinance authorizing and adopting the rezoning of certain property generally located at 941 North Jesse James Road in Excelsior Springs, Clay County, Missouri, from District C3 Service Business District to District R1 Single Family Residential District.
I move we approve ordinance number 22-06-03 for rezoning of certain property located at 941 North Jesse James Road.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, agenda item number 7 is consideration of a contract with Dean Demolition for the demolition of a power plant at 108 Dunbar. This would be a resolution.
Good evening again. The city has owned the property at 108 Dunbar since April of 2017. Most people know this as the Wyman School. Located at the Wyman School, in addition to the school building itself, is a power plant that sits on the property. It's an all-brick building. The building has continued to deteriorate over the years, and the roof is collapsing in on itself, making it a danger, not just to our property, but to surrounding properties. So we we went out to an RFP to request demolition of the power plant. We received one bid in the amount of $24,400, and we are requesting approval this evening of that bid so that we can demo that building. It will take, I believe, 75 days for that demolition to be complete. Would answer any questions you may have.
This is the same entity that did the east side of the Royal, right?
It is.
Any other questions? Okay, a resolution, consideration of a contract for Dean Demolition for the demolition of power plant at 108 Dunbar.
I move we approve resolution number 1350.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 8 is a presentation by our Miss Lindsay Baxter on the downtown visitation analysis for the first quarter of 2022.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Per our agreement, this was going to be quarterly written reports, but I thought with the first one, should there be any questions, I would be present to go over that. So again, visitation analysis through using the Placer AI software, and it is for the first quarter of 2022. There is an overview that shows during the first quarter we had 84,450 visits that came from 39,853 visitors. The average dwell time is 97 minutes, and that visit frequency broke down to 2.13. You can also see on there, that is the map. This is just the contiguous downtown CID district that includes these numbers. You can see that 10 Highway was cut out, so no traffic there is involved in the study or visits that would be accumulated. And later in the report, you will see it is 15 minutes that constitutes a true visit that gets counted into the data. On the second page, I did a breakdown of first quarter monthly visits in the years of 2020, 21, and 2022, so you can see a comparison. 2022 is slightly elevated over where we are in 2022. I will say, with comparing those numbers to sales tax numbers, our sales tax numbers are growing slightly even though visitation is slightly down. The next page breaks down the hours in which consumers are within our district. They're between the hours of 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. That is when just over 87% of our visitation occurs within the district. In addition to that page, I will share, we did do a complete breakdown of daily hours of visitation, Sunday through Saturday individually, and shared that with our merchants in hopes that it could potentially preempt some extended or additional hours of operation. The next page is daily visits by day of the week, so you can see that broken down. Again, this is just for the first quarter of 2022. Obviously, our Fridays and Saturdays are the highest days. I was surprised that Tuesday was as high as it was. The next is the percentage of the length of stay per visits. Not surprising, a majority of the people stay longer than 150 minutes in the district, which is very good news. The next page includes our visitor demographics. This is essentially the zip codes in which they come from. The list that they provide with us is the top 70 zip codes. So I included the top 10 in the sheet. But I will say that when I add all of the zip codes that fall within the Kansas City boundaries, that is equal to 10.875%. And of all of our visitation in the first quarter, 78.77% came from those top 70 zip codes. So about 21% came from outside of those. I will add, when I shared this with our economic team, we were all a little bit surprised at how high that Excelsior percentage was, because we felt like that's been a constant challenge. And later reports, and when I do a full year's worth report to you, that will actually go down to closer to like 13% when you look at it over the entire year process. But that obviously also goes to show us we don't have near as much travel coming to the community during those winter cold months. And then lastly is the trade area coverage. So this is showing you the percentage of visitors that come to our downtown district and how many miles they're driving from their home location. Are there any questions that I can answer for you all?
I'm just curious how they did the look back for 2020, 2021. I'm assuming they've been accumulating the data even though we didn't subscribe to
Correct.
the information.
Once we bought in, we now have access to the data all the way back to 2017. So whenever I do our final year report in January for you all to review, I'll actually have data that's included all the way back so you can see the past 5 years.
Okay.
Because you're using cell phone records, is that correct?
Correct.
So.
And we were talking earlier, it'd be nice, I know, we're looking at quarterly, but when we have special events, Wine Fest,
it's going to be
Water
great
Fest,
for this Saturday.
I think, this will be extremely helpful demographic information.
Yes, very much. We try and do a good job with tracking our ticket sales, but very often someone from Excelsior might buy 4 tickets and bring 4 out-of-town friends, and internally we don't have a way to capture that, but now we will with this option. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Thank you, Lindsay. And item number 9, we now have a presentation from Nate Williams, our Park and Rec Director.
All right. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, Mark and Phoenix, enjoying the hot, I'm sure. So our Parks and Rec department, we have an administrative board, but each year we are allowed the opportunity to give just a quick summary of the previous year. So typically this first meeting in June, you get to listen to me talk about all of the fun activities that we got to have in Parks and Rec. So 2021 was the Lego year, the rebuild year, after hardly anything going on in 2020, other than some of our, we saw a rise in park visits, a lot of people in the parks. We didn't necessarily have a way to track those numbers, but just knowing that every time you drive by a park, there's a ton of people there. Well, now 2021, we actually have that opportunity to start building on those park visits and programming in the parks. Facility reservations, we had 135 facility reservations in 2021. People were starting to get together, and they still maybe weren't comfortable doing that indoors there early in the year, so we got to, I guess, capitalize on that and give them a space to do that. So a lot of gazebos were a pretty popular spot in the spring, still for some of those family get-togethers or whatever that might be. Sports programs still, or in our esports, is still a little low, with 1,000 participants last year, but still a pretty decent number after that number being very, very low in 2020. Senior center visits, again, 2021 we were shut down still until June, so we still had to miss half of the year of those, but our averages, once we started back up, it was hopping down there, and it continues to grow, which is always great to see. And then some of those projects and accomplishments we'll get through as we go through this and our special events, and then our new events. So an intro to sports camp that we did for kind of the new people to our programs. So we did a cycle through. That was our big internship program. He was tasked with come up with a new program that we don't have that fits a need that we don't offer, and then it is yours. You can ask me a couple questions, but I want to see what you do with it. So that was his big project, and speed and agility we got to offer again. And then Parks and Rec month is always July of each year. So youth programs and sports, I'm not gonna read all of those numbers to you, but you see the big drop off after 2019, and then starting to get back up into 2021, and early numbers for 2022 actually show that they're going up from even where we were in 2018, 2019. So that's very positive to see. And then adult sports programs and activities, again, those are still, adult programs are always going to be hit or miss. One, they typically are, the participants are the ones investing a lot of time into their kids, and so they get put on the back burner. So those are really hard programs to get and keep consistent. So it might look like a semi-consistent number, but it could be completely different teams in each year, and you can't grab all of them and keep them every year, unfortunately. But and then our esports, so that was, Kendra Beaver was our recreation coordinator in 2019 and into 2020, and she left us to do a full-time esports job. So naturally her passion was esports, and she got it started here and got us rolling, and now we need to find that passion, whether that be a college student or a high school student that needs a job, that knows a lot about that industry, because currently we don't really have a person on staff that just games all the time, where Kendra would go home every day after work and play video games for hours. So we don't have that person on staff anymore, but we are looking to kind of start getting back into that area. These numbers are very small, but this is our senior center breakdown by year. So you can see the meals served, our homebound meals, which those are different now than they were. We used to do hot meals, and we'd package them up at the center, and then we would deliver them, or we had drivers that would deliver them out. Now Mid-American Regional Council handles all of that, and then they deliver frozen meals for a 2-week span, typically, to those homebound residents. And then down through the exercise classes, transportation. The last one is a new class that we added in 2021. So we used to just duplicate one of the other classes, so we'd do it twice a week. But in 2021 we added the cardio drum, which is a hit, you might say. They put one of those big medicine balls in a basket, and they beat it with drumsticks, and it's a great exercise, but it's also lifted up to them sitting in a chair, so they don't have to bend over for it. It's a really good adaptation to the pound class, essentially, is what that would be. Moving right along, we have Earth Day 2021. So Earth Day event has turned into one of our really biggest volunteer events each year. So Earth Day 2021, 120 volunteer hours, and an estimated savings over $3,000 for us. 32 large 55-gallon trash bags and 59 mesh river bags. Those are the ones that drain out the water for us. 3 tires and 6 truckloads of bulky items, and you can see that middle picture there is a truckload of junk debris. But 2021 we did have a rainstorm come through, so the rivers were high, so we couldn't really get, so those mesh river bags were actually used for a lot of the trash because just along the roads because it was so wet, but we could not get down into the rivers to clean. This year we were able to, and we got a lot as well. Condition of the budget for us. So 2021 is going to show, let's scroll a little bit more. Basically we had a big influx of money there at the end of the year. We finished the splash park and we had a lot of money out, but then the reimbursements came actually the following fiscal year for us, so it kind of is a little deceiving there, but we did end up getting quite a bit reimbursed for that project, which kind of comes on the next slides. So the splash park opened in 2021. It took us a few years to get it, but we got it. The VIP party was the Parks and Rec Foundation hosted that event. So that was to thank the Piccadilly event goers, because they ended up raising $87,000 to donate towards the splash park. So that was kind of their celebration event before the park actually opened. And then we did our grand opening with the ice cream truck and music and all the fun stuff. And we discussed at the grand opening, it took 3 years and a lot of hours for that park to get built, and it actually, without going in too much, we figured up over $200,000 would have been saved by doing so much work in-house, not paying that extra prevailing wage amount, but doing it with our own staff. So that was a huge help to be able to get the park built as cheaply as possible for us. So the next slide, kind of our 2021 projects. Again, we have the splash park. The LWCF grant was another great piece of that. So at LWCF grant, it actually on the application it says you can only apply up to $250,000. I challenged that a little bit because it doesn't actually say that anywhere. It's just on the application piece that they tell you that you can't. And we ended up going back and amending our application, and we got over $307,000 matched towards, because we spent over $600,000 on the project. It's a 50-50 match. So that was a huge help of a extra $57,000 that the government helped us with. So, and then our strategic plan, that was put together with our board. We had a workshop that is in the picture for them to kind of go around to the big whiteboards and put their input on different topics, and then we also surveyed the community to get some feedback. And that can be found on our website as well. And then in 2021, joint departments. So as you guys approved in November 1st, we kind of joined the 2 departments with me overseeing both of them, but still separately in the budget, but at least staff-wise overseeing both budgets. And then Jesse, as the community center director, now is overseeing our phase 2 project at the community center. So we're excited that he was able to stay on and help with that. So this is just kind of a general outline of the organizational chart for that joint venture of the 2 departments. All of the full-time staff lined out, and then kind of some general duties and part-time staff that they would have underneath them. So this is kind of one of the worksheets that we were putting together, trying to figure out how this would work and where the pieces would fall. So I think now we have a pretty good team going, and it's a lot more efficient. So previously, a rec coordinator would be doing most of the parks and rec planning right now, while they're also trying to get baseball, softball started. Well, now we have a youth and family coordinator that we can take out into the parks and do a art in the park program or a story time in the park, and it takes that load off of our rec coordinator, who's scrambling to get pitching machines ready to go and doesn't really know anything about art or teaching somebody how to do art. So this has already proven to be a good joint effort for us. And then our last page that you have here is our new, so with the joint department, we also got new email addresses, new website. So that was a much larger undertaking out. Now Andrew might recognize some of those people in that picture. But that was quite the challenge, joining 2 websites that were pretty established into one, along with our email addresses, because both of our departments were on Google and not through the city's typical email. So happy to answer any questions on that annual report. For I guess I'm on the next agenda item too.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
on the condition of the fund page. Would it, not that you want to go and unravel your numbers that you had approved, but would it make sense, instead of having a large expense in one year and then the payment of the grant in the next accounting year, to show that as a receivable in the previous year? 3 years from now, 4 years from now, you go back and look at this. Having that as a noted item, I think, might be helpful if someone were
And
doing
we
the financials.
discussed it with Vonda a little bit, but it didn't really make sense on her auditing side to go back and try to amend anything at this point to make those adjustments, because the big installments were in that fiscal year where the money was coming in. But yeah, I did visit with her a little bit on if that could work and how that could work, because that came up at a board meeting as well. I think they saw the number and they got a little nervous. They're like, "We're gonna run out of money, or no, we're okay."
It's coming. Check
Yeah,
in the mail.
yeah. You're waiting for the federal government to send you,
and those
money.
are slow payments.
Yeah. You're like, well, when is this gonna? And I was very disappointed that it was not. I was thinking like fat head, like big check, and it was just,
And you didn't even see it.
a piece of paper that they printed out and they go, "All right, here you go. Here's your receipt." Oh, it's disappointing.
Thank you, Nate. That was very nice.
Yeah, the splash park's been a huge hit so far this year. And again,
It's
I
been
know I
busy.
mentioned it during work session, but thank you to all you and your team for getting things up running this year earlier than planned. That was very appreciated by the community.
It's nice to have, and today you could see the rush after summer school got out. And there's a bunch of, I was out there after our department head meeting, there's a bunch of kids started walking up, so. Should be popular this summer. It hasn't quite been that hot yet. Surprising, weird spring, summer season, but.
Okay, well, let's move to agenda item number 10, which is still Nate. Consideration of a resolution for a license agreement with 1650 Rainbow Boulevard.
Yes, so this is an agreement we did last year, and this is basically just a renewal of that for the church property located right next to the splash park, so between the creek and the splash park. So this agreement basically just says that Parks Maintenance Department will maintain that little odd-shaped, non-accessible property, and we'll just mow it and keep it short. That way we don't have really a big concern is critters coming up from the creek, finding the other water source and tall, damp grass. And I don't do snakes very well, so we want to avoid any of those at all costs. Now the Parks and Rec Department, or the board, has discussed purchasing this property from the church, but with the maintenance building that you guys just approved a couple meetings ago, we wanted to just kind of hold off on really digging into that at this point. But probably for next year, we anticipate trying to work out a purchase of that property and expanding the splash park a little bit onto that. But for this year, it would just be this agreement. So.
Any questions? Okay. Consideration of the license agreement for 1650 Rainbow Boulevard.
I move we approve resolution number 1351 for the license agreement at 1650 Rainbow Boulevard.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Councilman Spawn?
He's on mute.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Councilman Kowalski?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Powell?
Yes. Okay, thank you, Nate.
Thank you.
Nice job. Agenda item number 11 is a simple motion for consideration of liquor license renewals. Chief Dahl.
Good evening, Mayor Powell and members of the council. This is consideration of liquor license renewals. The annual liquor license issued by the City of Excelsior Springs expires on June 30th, 2022. In your packet, you should have a listing of the 35 businesses that we expect to receive renewal applications from, along with their revenue schedules. Applications are still being received. All of them are reviewed to ensure compliance with the requirements, and are contingent upon them receiving a copy of their state license. So the way that works is they apply for a state license. Once they receive that, they submit that to us and we review it, and then we would issue them their city license. So simple motion is all that is required for approval, and this is a contingent upon them receiving their state license.
Any questions? Okay, we have a simple motion for the renewal of, I've lost my place. Liquor license.
It's a simple motion to approve 35 liquor license renewals.
Okay, we need a motion to accept 35 liquor license renewals.
I make a motion we approve the applications for the 35 establishments as submitted.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spawn?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Powell?
Yes. Okay. The next item on our agenda is a consideration of liquor license. Where are we on, 12?
We are on
Yes.
12.
For Dollar General.
Yes, so this is a application for a new license. Lorene Williams is requesting a packaged liquor and Sunday sales license for the Dollar General store number 23537, located at 1653 Meadowlark Lane in Excelsior Springs. Lorene Williams from Bryden, Swearingen, and England of Jefferson City, Missouri, will be the managing officer of the liquor licenses. Background check reveals nothing that would preclude the issuance of the liquor license to Lorene Williams as the managing officer of the licenses. Approval of the liquor license should be conditional upon receiving their license from the State of Missouri Division of Alcohol and Tobacco Control. Dollar General has requested the licenses to be effective July 1, 2022.
Are there any questions? Okay, consideration of liquor license application for Dollar General.
I move we approve the liquor license application for Dollar General.
Second.
Roll, Shannon?
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski?
Yes.
Councilman Spawn?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Powell?
Yes. A consideration of video monitoring equipment. This is a resolution.
Yes. So, given the inherent responsibility and potential liability of housing persons in our detention facility, I'm requesting the purchase of updated video monitoring equipment that would provide better coverage of our detention area. This is a project that we've been working on for a couple of months. The police department's detention facility currently only has 3 cameras to monitor the detention facility. These cameras are installed in the hallways on the outside of the cells and notably do not have audio capability. So they provide limited coverage of inside the cells and no audio. We have recently met with representatives of Electronic Technology, Inc., otherwise known as ETI, to identify the needed items that would satisfy our monitoring needs. ETI currently installs and maintains our current video equipment, and it's my recommendation that we choose our existing company for this additional equipment so that it's compatible with our current system. If approved, the scope of the work would include installing cameras in detention cells 1 through 6 and in the juvenile detention cell. The upload port of each switch would use the existing network cable at each location to connect to the existing switch in the communication center. The detailed quote from ETI is included in your packet. The total cost of the equipment and installation would be $18,361.76. And if approved by the City Council, I'm requesting that this purchase utilizes monies from the city's ARPA funds.
Does anyone have questions? Okay. A resolution consideration of the video monitoring equipment.
I move we approve resolution number 1352, the consideration of video monitoring equipment.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Councilman Spawn?
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Powell?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 14 is a resolution of consideration of ARPA fund application for water line improvements. Chad.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. The Missouri Department of Natural Resources is administering federal financial assistance from the U.S. Department of the Treasury pursuant to the American Rescue Plan Act, otherwise known as ARPA. We will be applying for approximately $5 million worth of water main upsizing and replacement projects in our water distribution system according to our water model capital plan. Part of the requirements of this process is to have a resolution from the governing body to authorize the application by naming the authorized official. In this case, it'll be the city manager. She'll be able to submit and sign all the necessary documents and receive payments on behalf of the applicant. The resolution is attached for your approval, for consideration and approval. Any questions? And all this does is just for the application process, so very beginning stages of it.
Okay, consideration of ARPA fund application for water line improvements.
I move we approve resolution number 1353 for water line improvements for the ARPA fund application.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski?
Yes.
Councilman Spawn?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Agenda item number 15, a resolution consideration for ARPA fund application for the lead service line, or lead service line study.
This is the same thing we just talked about. It's money, Missouri through the ARPA funds, through Missouri Department of Natural Resources. But this is for a study for lead service lines inventories. We don't believe we have any complete lead service lines, either in residential or commercial here, but everybody through EPA is required to do this. So since ARPA is providing money for it through the state, we're obliged to utilize that. So just to have another resolution for it.
Questions? We'll have a consideration of the ARPA fund application for lead service lines.
I move we approve resolution number 1354 for the ARPA fund application for lead service line study.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Spahn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Agenda item number 16, a resolution, consideration of ARPA fund application for sewer main lining improvements.
This is the third application. These are broken down between water to the lead lines, and this is for the sewer portion. We have identified $1.2 million worth of sewer main lining alternatives that did not get completed due to running out of funds through our bond project. So those are areas that are still seeing that they've been identified. We need to complete those. That is estimated around $1.2 million. If we have enough time, because these are in a very tight timeline, we'll be applying for more. But again, this just names Molly as the person to be authorized to apply for it. Any questions?
Okay, consideration of ARPA fund application for sewer main lining improvements.
I move we approve resolution number 1355 for ARPA fund application for sewer main lining improvements.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman Spahn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay, agenda item number 17 is an ordinance adopting the Title VI plan for city transit system.
Before you tonight is our, as she said, our Title VI adoption for our new plan. As part of our 5311 grant, we're required to be compliant with the Federal Transit Administration Title VI plans. This plan contains updates from the FTA and is now required to be updated annually. The City of Excelsior Springs Transportation Department operates its services without regard to race, color, or natural origin in accordance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 for LEP individuals. As a recipient of federal transit funds, we are required to provide the Title VI information to the public within our service area. This information will be disseminated during our public meetings, local newspaper, email, phone calls, brochures, and in person. The revised plan is attached for your information, and there's an ordinance for your consideration and approval. Any questions?
Okay, an ordinance adopting the Title VI plan for the city transit system.
Move that we take ordinance number 22-06-04, consideration of transportation, Title VI plan adoption for 2022 to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spahn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay, an ordinance adopting the Title VI plan for the city transit system.
I move we approve ordinance number 22-06-04, consideration of transportation for Title VI plan adoption 2022.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman Spahn,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 18, an ordinance approving a contract to provide ambulance service to the ambulance district between the City of Excelsior Springs, Missouri and the Eastern Clay County Ambulance District. Joe?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. This is the annual contract with Eastern Clay County Ambulance District. We have been the only department to serve Eastern Clay County Ambulance District since their inception. In your package, you'll find an annual report, the contract, a compensation breakdown, and a copy of the ordinance. The language is basically the same. We ran 163 calls in Eastern Clay County Ambulance District last year. This year, the district sustained a $25,000 revenue loss. They only collect between $110,000 and $115,000 a year anyway. Their maximum that they can afford to pay us is $110,000. This year, with the loss, they can only afford $100,000 for us to provide the service to them. There are no other providers to provide the service to that area of Clay County. So I request that you approve the contract with Eastern Clay County. Be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
An ordinance approving a contract to provide ambulance service to the ambulance district between the city of Excelsior Springs, Missouri and the Eastern Clay County Ambulance District.
I move we take ordinance number 22-06-05, consideration of Eastern Clay County Ambulance District, to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay, an ordinance approving a contract to provide ambulance service to an ambulance district between the city of Excelsior Springs, Missouri and the Eastern Clay County Ambulance District.
I move we approve ordinance number 22-06-05, consideration of Eastern Clay County Ambulance District contract.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 19 is an ordinance amending City Code Section 660.090 related to fireworks stands.
We have been authorizing the selling of fireworks in the city limits for a relatively short period of time. And in the last few years that that's occurred, we have found that one of the provisions is that the tents provide a $1,000 cleanup bond, which will enable the city to keep that bond if the tent owner walks away and the city is required to clean up after them. We've had a tent owner that has left us the mess to clean up for the last 3 years. And to convert the bond into cash is a little more complicated than it needs to be. So we're suggesting that in the ordinance, if we just change the language from bond to deposit and make it a refundable deposit, that we would take this in the form of cash and return it in the form of cash when they walk away with the area clean. So that is really the only change we're suggesting.
Are there any questions?
Would this apply to what's already been issued?
Not this year.
So it would be for subsequent year?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we've really collected everything in
Yeah, I
advance.
thought that was already
There was a
done.
deadline.
Okay.
And so we're good this year.
Okay.
An ordinance amending City Code Section 660.090 related to fireworks stands.
I move that we take ordinance number 22-06-06, consideration of amending section 660.090 of the city code to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. An ordinance amending City Code Section 660.090 related to fireworks stands.
I move we approve ordinance number 22-06-06, amending section 660.090 of the city code.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay, agenda item number 20 is an ordinance allowing claims and appropriations to pay the same by issuing checks out of the various funds of the city.
Yes, before you are appropriations for May 11th, May 12th, May 18th, and May 25th, as well as the payroll of May 31st, in the total of $877,443.26.
No questions? An ordinance allowing claims and appropriating to pay the same by issuing checks out of the various funds of the city.
I move that we take ordinance number 22-06-07, consideration of appropriations, to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. An ordinance allowing claims and appropriating to pay the same by issuing checks out of the various funds of the city.
I move we approve ordinance number 22-06-07 for appropriations.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay, transmittals?
We did have transmittals. What is provided is the court report for May.
Remarks by city manager.
I have nothing this evening.
All right, Sonia?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Stephen?
Nothing.
Andrew?
Nope, thank you.
Mark? Do you have any remarks?
Nothing except a comment for Nate. It's plenty warm out here. I can bring some of this heat back if you would like.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
It's a dry heat though.
Perfect for a splash park, though.
There you go.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have nothing. So, we are going to go into closed session following pursuant to section, this is so small, 610.021.1 RSMO.
I've moved that we close the regular city council meeting of June 6, 2022, and go into closed session pursuant to section 610.021.1 RSMO. It's long.
Second.
Did we get a second?
Mark
Mark.
seconded.
Mark, okay, he's laughing. Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay, we are closed and going into closed session.
Well, that was long.